Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Facebook and YouTube live broadcast. My name is Bam, and I'm so grateful for your attention tonight. If you're catching this live, hello. I'm grateful that you're joining me tonight. It's Saturday, and as my guest mentioned an hour ago, she said we're going live 8 means it's August 8th, it's 8 p.m. Well, sort of like, it's actually, this is interesting, Marga, if she's listening. It's actually 8:08 p.m. This wasn't planned at all, but we're going live August 8th, exactly 8:08. It's 8:08 p.m. This is interesting. So first things first, before I introduce our guests tonight, if you're catching this live, welcome. And a lot of you're probably catching me for the first time. My name is Bam, and I'm using this platform to share inspiration, encouragement, and positivity to people, especially during these COVID times where a lot of people are discouraged, a lot of people are frustrated, angry with so many things happening. A lot of people are fearful and anxious. So I've made it my mission to just share encouragement when I can. And part of that encouragement is introducing people to you guys who could also help you become uplifted and encouraged in your life journey. So they will be sharing their stories, they will be sharing their life experience. And it's hi Neris, I can see you. I'd be very happy if you guys interact. But also, if you want to share, gusto nyo i-share, like Neris, my guest tonight, will be live with 6 of her children. And it's amazing that they're all getting together. It's the first time they're doing this. So anim sila. And we're gonna be, we don't really have a format, but we will be sort of like just winging it and free flowing and talking about current events, especially things pertaining to family life and parents living with their children. So let me know if you're here by saying hi, just like Neris did, and where you're watching from, what city or what country. We usually have people showing up from different states in America. We have people following me from Australia as well. Scott Mitcherson and his group his group that does a lot of meditation in New South Wales. So Germany as well watches us, and people all over Asia. So please say hi, and I'll get right into it because there's a lot we're going to be talking about. So tonight, my guest is I'll introduce first the mom. Okay, so my guest is the editor in chief of Modern Parenting, and I can see a lot of you saying hi. I'll say hi, MJ, Dar, Gerald. I'm glad you're all here. More people are going to be coming in, and she was already my guest before, I think a month ago, and she came up with this amazing idea. I think it's amazing to for us to just go live and interact with her children. And I'm really honoring her. Her name is Marga Tupaz. I'll bring her up, but before she even comes on, I'm really honoring her because who the heck does this? Like, who goes live with their children? Who has the courage? Diba? I'm like calling up parents. Who the heck has the courage to go live with not one, not two, but all 6 of her children? Sino-sino sa inyo ganyang kalakas yung loob nyo to do something like this? And this is scary stuff. This is scary stuff. And I know, interestingly enough, her eldest son is the same age as my son. So this is interesting stuff. And I'll bring them up in a while. I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get right into the conversation. But I'm super excited. So please, of course, the first person I'll bring up will be Marga, and she'll be with her daughter. Who I'll let her introduce herself to you. You're gonna be there's gonna be cuteness overload tonight, and this is what's funny. As I'm saying cuteness overload, just my own experience. Living with my sister before, my only sibling, it was like they're like, ew, you're not cute, you're this, you're disgusting, you're that. Like, I don't know what their experience is in their home, but it brings up a lot of memories for me. So I'd like to welcome again, first of all, the mom, Marga Tupaz, my main guest, of course, with all her children later on. We'll bring them on one at a time. Marga, welcome to the live broadcast.
Hi. So I'm getting so sanay with this live thing na. Anyway, hi guys, I'm Marga, and this is my youngest, Sabrina, and we're both in pink, accidentally. Um, anyway, yeah, I was already here on your show like about a month ago, and we've been trying to do a part 2. But yeah, I said, you know what, since there was so much interest with the kids the last time I was here, for me to just come back on and do a part 2 was a little bit redundant. So I'm like, let's make it fun a bit and include all of them. And luckily they're all game naman. I'm a little nervous because I don't know, but they were in different rooms in the house. So I can't like look at them and be like, don't say that or make them kurot. So, we'll see if people are going to be grounded tomorrow or if people are going to be alive tomorrow. We'll know. We'll find out. This one I can kurot kurot. He's next to me.
Well,
Go ahead, love.
well, thank you for being here. Of course, Sabrina beside you. Hi, Sabrina. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're joining with your mom. I'll bring up the your other kids so and they can introduce themselves. So I'll go. This won't be in any order. So I'll just randomly. This is fun, Margaret, because I can just select people here in my
Yeah.
little control area here. And keep saying hi if you're watching us live. Mag-hi kayo. So I'm already with Marga. Then we're with Sabrina, her youngest, and let's see. Let's go here first. Welcome to the chat room, Arriana and Natalia. So please say hi, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Natalia. I'm 17 years old, about to be 18 in 34 days, and I'm a crush on DLSU.
Thank
So
you for
proud.
being here.
TLSU.
Yeah.
Go, Ar.
Hi, I'm Marga Tupaz. I'm 16 years old, and I study in the University of Asia and the Pacific in junior high school. Senior high
Thank you.
school.
Thank you for being here, Ariana and Natalia. So you said, Natalia, you're going to be celebrating your birthday in how many days? Was it a few days away?
34.
How many
Sorry?
days?
24 on the
34 days. She has a countdown.
34. Wow, that's a very precise countdown. Well, I'm glad you're here.
She's wanting to turn 18 for like the longest time. Like, kasi she's the youngest in her barkada. So she goes, Mom, I feel like I've been 17 for like 3 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for Natalia because with this whole lockdown thing, which we'll get into later. It's gonna be quite memorable for you. None of us have. Well, of course, I didn't celebrate my debut, syempre, but I'm saying, those of us who are older, who have gone through the whole debuting, the women, none of them have this experience of, what you're going to be going through in a lockdown. So we'll get to that later. Thank you, and welcome thank you for being here. I'll go click the next one. We'll get everyone on. Welcome, guys. Please introduce
Hello.
yourselves. Hi.
You go first. Oh, okay. I'm Nicolo Andoni Rafael Tupaz, and I
Wow,
am.
complete.
I'm 14 years old and study at CSA Makati.
Hi, I'm Luigi Tupaz. I'm 13 and I'm a middle schooler in CSA Makati.
Thank you, Luigi. Thanks for being here, Nicolo, as well. And then, of course, last but definitely not the least, and definitely not the youngest.
Hi.
Hi. Please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Miguel. I'm 20 years old, and I'm a junior in the University of Asia in the Pacific.
Amazing. Thanks for being here, Miguel. You've got a really nice voice.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So everyone is here. I hope you guys are Roy says biggest interview ever. I mean, this is huge, not just in number, but let's see what's gonna happen. So hi to everyone here. Again, just comment and if you want to comment here and you can't seem to comment, please grant StreamYard permission so you guys can interact, ask questions later on. So we'll get right to it. First of all, thank you to all of you for saying yes to this. Thank you for saying yes to your mom. I don't know how many of you. We make a joke of this, Marga. Like how many of you were forced to be here? How many of you are here? Well, that's honest. Well, that's honest. That's the first thing we ask in our programs. Because we try to make it as real as possible. Meaning there are things that perhaps you are you don't want to do or you're not comfortable doing, but still you said yes to it. So that's quite something. So and we will honor your time for being here, right? So we'll get right into it. There's 6 kids with us, and this is amazing. Maybe I'll start with Miguel because Miguel he has to go in like 45 minutes or less. So Miguel, the first question is like, how have you been? Before I ask the question, I'll say this first. Like, welcome to the pandemic and being part of this with all of us, Miguel. I mean, in your lifetime, this is pretty. I mean, it's crazy for us. But I want to understand, like, what's it been like for you at 20 years old? You're in Yeah. Are you still in university? I didn't catch that. If you were still in school, or are you working already, or were you working?
Oh, I'm currently a third year student in studying in UANP. So I still have classes. Classes start next week for me, actually.
Okay. So like, how has this been for you? Like, you're 2020. I guess we're all excited. Get excited. We created some plans for the year, and we're gonna be going back to school and all. Then this pandemic hits. Like, how is it for a 20-year-old? I can't imagine what it's like. What has your experience been like since the whole March lockdown?
Um, at first, it was a little uncomforting because we
Yeah.
had all these plans in the university. Like different organizations had plans, and I was helping them out with it. But then, when everyone started to get comfortable in quarantine, I didn't have too much of a hard time adjusting because I'm still on the computer 24/7, and it was like that even before then. So adjusting wasn't too hard. But then, in quarantine right now, um, it's a little daunting because of everything that's going to come next year. We have an entire school year. We have all these plans. We were supposed to welcome the incoming freshmen, like my sister Ari. We had all these plans, but they all sort of went down the drain. But we're adjusting pretty well, I'd say.
Um, this is interesting. You say you're in front of your computer like more like 24/7. You said 24/7. Um,
Yeah.
do you guys find, and anyone can answer this, like, do you guys find that it's actually easier to be just stuck at home in front of your computer, or are any of you guys like, do you crave, like, do you miss going out and you're like, this is crazy? We might be talking about personalities now. Like, there might be extroverts among you who are like, this is crazy. Like, I wanna smash my computer and just go out and meet friends. Like, what about the rest of you guys? Like, how, or even you, Miguel, like, do you guys ever get to that? Have you ever gotten to that point? Or are you like, no, bam, it's staying at home, this is a dream, it's fine?
Do you guys want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go. For me, I'm like the extrovert in the family, so I'm out all the time. And now that it's locked down and I can't see my friends, it took me a long time to get used to it, to not being able to see for not being able to see my friends and not being able to go out with them and see them every day like I used to.
Yeah. Um, do you find yourself, Natalia, right? Like, do you find that, um, are you like communicating with them more now? Are you more of like doing like FaceTime or chatting with them, or have you adjusted and sort of like, no, I don't really need to talk to them. I'll be reading a book or doing other stuff on your own.
I still talk to them. I talk to a lot of my friends every day. We're always on calls, playing games, and I actually have classes with a bunch of my friends still. So I still get to talk to them, but of course it's different from seeing them in person and online.
Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead. Anyone else? The other guys, or
Luigi.
Can I go? Me, I'm kind of in the middle, extroverted and introverted. But at the start of the lockdown, I was actually kind of comfortable staying at home, and having school at home is kind of easy for me.
okay.
I also think it's fine because since we have social media, we're able to chat to our friends through that. But I really think that the biggest downside for me and my brother is that we won't be able to play football.
Sports.
So then it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Um, I just hearing your answers, it's sort of like parang nagpa-flashback ako, Margo, when I was like 14. I'm an introvert.
Gano'ng katagal na yun, Bam?
Sorry.
Gano'ng katagal na yun nung 14 ka?
I don't know, like 15, 20 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
I wish they're like calculating who loves math here. Who's the math whiz? May math whiz ba dito? Anyone here love math? No, you're like Tito Bam then. I'm more of the artistic side. Yeah, great.
I'll say
That's
they're
okay.
not good in math, but they are.
Okay.
Good math.
No, I was just remembering. I wanted to share with you guys as well. Like, when I was 13, I was very introverted, and I just loved staying at home. I didn't like, well, except for Natalia, who is more of the extrovert. But I just like playing my computer games. I love reading books. That's why I was. But I also played sports. I started playing basketball at a young age. But I can't. Ito nga yun, Marga. Like, I can't imagine them Like, what if, guys, imagine going through this and not having any social media, right? Imagine being locked up at home and not having, the technology to be able to connect with people, like with your friends. But I also, this is also interesting for me, Marga, because we still, it's a basic human need for us to connect with people.
Yeah.
Do any of you ever feel like, I mean, you guys mentioned, I know you guys, Nicolo mentioned sports, particularly football, but do you guys still get to go out at least in your park? Have you guys gotten like time to play sports at all?
Boys go.
Yeah, actually, we do training on Zoom with our football teams, and it's kind of fun. And sometimes in the morning, we do jogging or walking with our brother.
So you get to go out, but obviously, sorry, I didn't. Did you say online?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like through Zoom calls where like our coach shows us drills that we have to follow live. But then, of course, we don't see each other on the same field.
How does that feel? Like, I'm really interested in that. Like, so I'm like watching the screen, I'm doing these drills. Coach is like, go, go, go. Like, how was that
Yeah.
for you guys?
it's honestly hard because of for number one, the internet. It's kind of bad sometimes, and number
Yeah,
two, the space for us is kind of limited.
yeah.
Yeah. Miguel, you want to talk about your training? How you got out? What kind of training you put your brothers through this summer?
Yeah, so I personally train my brothers and people outside, so I sort of understand how my brothers feel and how other people feel, or like as a coach. So me and my brothers would jog outside about like a mile every morning or every other morning,
In the
and in
village,
the
in the village.
yeah,
See,
and then
yeah.
in the
People might hate
afternoon
on
I
that.
do weightlifting with my brothers. Like we do body weight or dumbbells. And aside from that, I also coach people online. Like I'm a personal trainer, so I help people get rid of their quarantine fat. I teach them how to do things, and the issue with that is when you're in person and you're personally training someone, you get to see like all the little intricate details, like how their form is off or how they're breathing. When you're doing it online, it's really hard to understand how they're feeling and what may be hurting. So it's sort of impersonal in a way because you're just telling them, okay, you can keep on going, but you don't know how they're feeling or whether they're comfortable. So it's really overwhelming.
So, well, I have a follow up question to that then. So Miguel, like, what would it be like? I mean, I'm just trying to imagine, because we're on a 2 week lockdown. There's buzz around us perhaps extending to a whole month. I just want to get your thoughts on this since you're a personal trainer, and I feel your energy, which is I think it's great. 20 years old. Now, I'm not trying to flatter you, which I don't do, but at 20 years old, I did not have your confidence in speaking, and just as a guy, right? It wasn't like that. So it's quite remarkable, that at 20 years old, you're a personal trainer, you're helping people. That's great. I was, because what Tito Bam was doing, I was hiding from people. And it's amazing that you're trying to help people. But like, what do you think, Miguel? Like between now, what if there's the possibility of us extending to December? And I don't mean to like bring doom and gloom here, but um, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how does someone who does personal training, and anyone can also comment on this, like you guys, I know you guys, like Natalia and Arriana, like you want to go out, you want to meet your friends, but what would it be like for you guys? And I'd like to hear from all of you, but also from Sabrina, like what would it be like if we lock down for like a longer time and we don't go back? Of course, obviously, there's not going to be that normal thing for a long time. But how would you guys feel about that? Would it be something very challenging for you? I'd like to get the mindset of the your generation.
Um,
Um, you guys want to go? I could go first if you want.
the girls first, only because the girls are starting in a new school this year, so I feel like they're missing out on that experience of the first day and everything. So start with
I
you
feel
naman.
that.
So for me, it's challenging because it's hard to adjust to a whole different school. But I think with like the quarantine and everything, I think I can survive. It won't be that much of a challenge anymore because I'm getting used to everything that the school has to offer because I have my older brother that provides me with it.
Wow.
And I also like picked up a lot of different hobbies over quarantine. So I think I can keep myself occupied even if it will get extended to the month.
Thank you. Thank you, Ari. Okay.
Not you.
Um, personally, it's always gonna be sorry, it's always gonna be difficult for me because I'm so like attached to my friends, and
Yeah.
the one thing I was excited about studying in DLSU was the Taft life, like the lifestyle in Taft, and now that I won't be able to experience it, it's like I'm missing out on the thing that gave me my passion to wanna go to LaSalle and study there. But then again, I can't also help but feel like I'm helpless because there's nothing I can do to improve the situation we're in.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Nat. Thank you.
Okay, you sad.
I
Talk
mean,
loud.
it wasn't that really challenging for me to adjust because like I'm like, kind of young and I can't really go out as much as my older siblings. And like when quarantine started, it was like easy because like every day I would always like video chat with my friends and stuff. So
Yeah.
like it's not hard. And over quarantine I got like closer to my older siblings. So they like
Wow.
became my best friends.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But yeah, it's kind of fun to have them around too.
Well, thank you, Sabrina. I mean, that is so touching to hear that, like during this time, and you're such a, I feel like you're such a sweet kid. I mean, 11 years. She's the youngest, by the way, to those who are
The
watching.
reaction of everybody when you said she was sweet, they're all like,
Yeah. Well, I have to say this. Guess what?
We
When
don't judge.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying when you're with other people, they always look at your younger siblings like, "Oh, he's so cute." I remember before with my sister again, they say, "Oh, your brother is so cute," and she would like, "No, yeah, he's disgusting." But that was just I know you're laughing because that's what, but you guys are normal because that's what siblings do. It's not always like because I know you want your privacy, but this is another thing. By the way, you can answer whatever any of these questions that I'm throwing out there. But now, this is interesting also. Like, what about your privacy? Do you guys ever have challenges where like I don't want to see my brother today or I don't want to see my sister? Can you guys just leave me alone and give me my privacy? Is that ever an issue in a and I would say you guys are laughing. I like this. Like how do you like get out of my life? Or mom, can you buy me my own like small apartment so I'm out of this house? Like how is that for you guys? Or are you like Sabrina? She said like, I'm getting closer to my siblings. You usually the younger ones, Sabrina, usually like being with their elder siblings because you get to see all their stuff and all their toys, and the older ones are like, no, get away from me, But how about you guys? Like how does that experience? Do you ever need your privacy and like
yeah. Nicolo, Luigi, go ahead.
Ego.
Me not really. I'm fine with I'm really comfortable with all of my siblings. So whenever they're around me, I usually don't mind them or it's easy to like just be comfortable with them. So then I don't need much privacy.
Okay,
Nicolo,
Me,
no, wait.
go ahead.
Nicolo is always in the attic.
He has his own room in the attic.
No, he's always like with the room where they're at now. He's always there gaming. And who's the only one that goes up there with you?
Ari or Luigi, it's usually them.
Okay.
Okay, so you already sort of like claimed your space. You have your own space there, and whoever goes up there,
Yeah.
okay, will be okay if they're okay with what you're doing. Okay, what about the
Okay.
rest of you guys? I mean, because go ahead.
What can I do?
for me, I'm kind of the opposite of Nicolo because I'm usually the one that goes everywhere, and I'm always the one annoying everyone. And
Well, yeah, yeah.
I know
Okay.
my sisters can agree on that because I'm always
Why
everywhere.
don't you guys tell everybody what Luigi likes to do when he goes in each of our rooms?
What does he do?
What do I do?
Always one.
Too much.
He's
Huh?
always flexing. He's always like,
What-
yeah, look. Because he works out. So he's always like, guys, look at my arms, look at my good.
I'm just proud. I'm a proud boy.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, 13 years old, Luigi works out, so he's flexing his muscles, and he needs his audience, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
What
so
about you, Carol? Are
yeah, go
you
ahead.
about the space situation?
Oh, because Ari and I, we share one room. And honestly, over the quarantine, at first, all we did was bicker and fight. But lately,
Really?
we've been getting along super well. And like, we have nights where like we don't want to talk to each other at all. So we're just on our corners of the bed. But on other nights, we like interact, make TikToks, we do really stupid things that make everyone laugh. So I guess the quarantine did help us get closer and get more used to the idea of doing stuff with each other forever, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. I mean, that's wonderful because I'm seeing that your ages are so close to each other. You can still do the stuff that you guys like doing at your age with your siblings as well. Um, but here, just again, you can whatever comes up, you guys can go back to the other questions. But this is interesting as well. I'll go back to Miguel just a little bit, and I'm interested to because I see Miguel. He's there, of course, the eldest, 20 years old. The next closest to you is just turning 18.
Yeah.
Miguel, like, do you feel like a certain weight of responsibility on your shoulders because you've got, like, five other younger siblings? Has it been an experience of Miguel? Remember, everyone is watching you. You're the model. Remember, you're the older brother. Which is a typical thing that happens usually in households. Like, what has your experience been growing up with five younger siblings?
Okay, honestly speaking, the experience of having like five other siblings, I didn't really feel the responsibility of being a role model because growing up, I was like the big loser of the family. I didn't really do much. All I would really do was play video games in my bathroom and just like go with the flow. I tried to do nothing new. Meanwhile, I feel like if I were a motivation to be like, I'd motivate my siblings to not be me because
Right.
like growing up, they like go out of their way to try something new. Well, I just want to be, in my room alone. Like my sisters would join the dance club, my brothers would join the football varsity. My youngest sister Sabby would get like Golden Eagles, which is like the highest award you can get in terms of like academic attainment in the NCSA. But then meanwhile, uh, yeah, I felt like I wasn't really the role model. So growing up, if anything, they inspired me to want to be more, and if it's because of them that I became this outspoken, charismatic guy in college. Like I owe almost everything I am to them helping me, even if they don't realize they're doing it.
I mean, you sound like the ideal older brother. Like you're the older brother everyone wished they had. Or am I gonna see their heads shaking now if you only knew what it was like living with with Miguel? But then again, like I said, it's just our experience. Well, thank you for sharing that.
No, but
How
you know
about
what? Hold on. Bam, wait
yeah? Go
lang.
ahead.
But it's true. Like Miguel, out of all the kids, I feel like was a late bloomer in terms of knowing what he wanted.
Really, like,
Because he didn't have anyone older than him to emulate.
Correct.
Whereas younger ones had already had him and had a template sort of.
Yeah.
So, but I think his turning point was when he graduated from high school and which was 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, it was 3 years ago already or two. And went to college because I could really tell that he wanted to be that new person. He even said to me, I want to go to the school, which is UANP, and I want to kind of be a new person there because there nobody knows who I was, nobody knows my siblings. So
Sure.
I'm like gonna be. It's like a restart. So
Yep.
he did. Like he started out with really working out for like the whole summer, and then he went from having such mediocre grades in high school to now he's actually been a consistent scholar in college. So it's so amazing to pay tuition that's just partial because he's doing the job and he's doing a lot for the school. So I feel like people grow, like they mature in different stages, and he did, but he did it in his own terms. So
Right.
that's also kind of what I liked about it because he didn't feel pressured. It wasn't because he didn't care. He just to him it's like, I'm gonna march to the beat of my own drum.
Yeah.
And he did it in his own time. And I
Yeah.
feel like even everyone here, they could like this now, they could be this now, but it could always change, right? And we should always be open to changing.
Okay. Well, now it's going to get more interesting, but thank you for sharing that, Marga, because something came up as you were sharing. I guess what came up for me was trying to understand like the environment of how you guys grew up, like growing up with mom and dad, right? But I am seeing sort of like a certain freedom that you guys have to, to evolve and grow at your pace. But of course, with mom and dad's guidance, obviously. But maybe here I'll go to mom for a while. I'll go to Marga. Marga, raising six kids, and I know they have their own unique personalities and gifts and whatever, all that stuff. I get that. What are maybe per child? I just want to do this because I know they're all unique. But I'd like to ask you this, like, what are or what have been like the greatest life lessons that each child has taught you? And I know your experience with them is different, so or yeah, it could be lesson, or it could be perhaps the biggest and I'm pertaining now to your own growth and evolution as a human being, as a mom, kasi madaming nanonood na moms, Marga, and they're like, you know um am I getting something from my kids, or is it just me as the mom always giving and giving, napapagod na din ako? So I'd like to ask that now, as seeing your children as gifts, like individually, what has that done for you?
My evolution as a mom, oh my gosh, it's a lot. I feel like from because I became a mom when I was 22, so I was young. I had Miguel. I was 22, and we were in the States. The eldest five were actually born there, and it was only Sabrina who was born here. So it was a lot. It was going from impatient to, in the beginning, feeling at 22 when I had kids. My friends were all traveling and having careers and all that, So which I gave up because I had kids that early. And they were, after 2 years, Natalia was born. After 18 months, Arriana was born. Sorry, 20 months. And after 18 months, Nicolo was born. And after 13 months, Luigi was born. So it was just like bam, 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 bam. And then so I said to, yeah, it was a lot of accepting and a lot of realization. I didn't always get it right. I was always short-tempered. You know, um, I really feel like the kids, especially the three older half, really grew up with my husband and I because, they saw us through from when we were young and struggling and hot-headed and impatient and honestly, like we were like at some point very what's the word? We were so impulsive also in the way we were making decisions and
Yeah.
listening to what people thought and letting it affect us. And then it
Yeah.
wasn't really only until the other Nicolo was born, Luigi, and then we had to mellow down because there was no point in like swimming like swimming upwards, right? When you have everybody that are we're outnumbered not at that point. They have 5 kids, 2 adults. And then we came to Manila. Sabrina was born. And that was really only the time when I was able to do things for myself. And I think my husband as well, because we had help. We had helpers. And still, yeah, a lot of mistakes were made. Mistakes in the relationship of husband and wife, even as parents. But I think that what I like about our family is we learn from the mistakes and we talk. And like even if it's just me talking and they're all just listening, or I'm just getting mad, like freaking out, and they're all just standing there in like one line listening to me. But the thing is, we talk, and I do let them talk, and they're all laughing because they know, like when I'm mad and I text them, come to my room now, and then they're all like, and you see them coming in one by one, and then they don't know what they're walking into, if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, we communicate, and I let them talk to me. They can pretty much tell me anything. I tell them naman I'll react this way, but let me absorb and then later we can have a better conversation.
Yeah.
So I think that over time, the older I get, the older they get, I think like we're just kind of on the same page. I don't feel like I actually like I learn a lot from them. It's interesting.
Like can you give an example, like what's I mean, just for the viewers also, yeah, I sometimes forget that there are people watching us all. Like what's a thing or two that you learned, perhaps, maybe from Sabrina, your youngest, you know.
Well, the girls, the three, you know how girls are normally catty and into drama. There's also a bit of insecurity there, diba? When your friends are fighting with you, or like like Natalia and Arriana, for instance, even Sabrina now because she's older, they are so. I've learned from them not to care and mean it. A lot of us will always say, "I don't care what people say about me." I say it all the time, but that's not true. It actually
Mm.
affects me when people say bad things about me. Well, if they say something bad about my kid, it's a different story because I'll be out for blood. But if they say something bad about me, I don't care what they said, but really I care, and I'm like, "Grr," I'm fuming, or I'm shaking, and I see them and they're like, whatever, and they've gone through their fair share of issues that kids go through growing up, and I'm all riled up and angry while they are just chill and
They're chill.
telling me, "Mom, calm down, Mom. Don't be so petty." Like Natalia likes to say that, "Mom, you're being petty again." Or "You're being childish, right, Nats?" Like she's so over it, and I'm like not over this friend who fought with her like 6 years ago, or whoever they are, right?
That's
And
wonderful.
while she's like so over it now, I'm not, and same with Arriana and even Sabrina. Well, Sabrina naman not, she hasn't really gone through anything that's serious yet, but it's just the fact that they're so, and a lot of it is I see the security there. The reason why they are like that is because they're secure people. They don't, the security thing is not an issue, whereas maybe with me growing up, I was such an insecure person. So I always wanted to be accepted and liked. And I mean, I'm older now, and I could care less really be about being part of a group, or I don't even have a barkada. I have a lot of friends, but I don't have like set groups that I always hang out with. I have so many friends, so many groups, nothing exclusive, because I feel like my barkada is the family.
Mm.
So that's one thing. And then from the boys naman, like with Miguel, he's such a level-headed person, and he gives good advice. So, a lot of times, like all of us, even the sisters, look, you guys are laughing, but you asked me for advice. And then the two boys naman, it's just their grip. Like they, and this is why parents who are watching, please put your kids in sports, because it
Sports.
does much more for them, for their whole being as a person, than just the competitiveness or the actual skills. It's really more of life skills that you're learning in sports. So what I admire about the two of them is the grit, and the fact that even if they're teammates, constantly being compared to each other, they're their number one backers. Like, there's no sibling rivalry there. And this I have to really give to Nicolo, because he's older than Luigi by 13 months, and people are always like, "Oh, Luigi's better than you, Luigi's this and that." And he's like, "Yeah, I know he is. I admit it. Whatever, that's my brother." And then
Wow.
Luigi's like, "No, but I depend a lot on Nicolo. That's so there's no, and I see it, and it's not artificial, because you'll know if there's gonna be tension.
Yeah.
And I always worried about the tension. So I'd always talk to them, "Hey, are you guys okay?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then but you can see that they really could care less what other people say. So that whole, I don't care what people say, I love that about all of them, because it's something I wish, like I learned 40 years ago or so, right? That, you know, just that amazing security that they have in themselves, that was ingrained, maybe because there's so many of them, and they have their group at home, which is
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
And so, end of the day, they don't really need anyone else anymore, right? Hopefully. I'm just kidding. But friendship wise, I think they're okay now. So
Okay. So here's a question, and please show by a raise of hand, show if this is you or not. Like, who among you here, you are expressive in showing, just by raise of hands, you're expressive to your parents, in terms of showing emotion, or telling them how much you appreciate or love them. Are you guys that open? Raise of hands. I want to see anyone here. Hindi. Okay, great. Now, this is important, okay? This is important. So, because yun nga yung sinasabi namin eh. But, and this is great because I do a lot of programs and seminars. And one of the biggest regrets that people have, maybe Margaret can relate to, I don't know how she's processing, is for us not to be able to have said, and I know it's still the age as well, but to be able to express to our parents how much we appreciate them or how much we love them. And we think, and a lot of people get emotional when we're talking about, like, we think mom and dad are going to be there forever. Oh, the mom is just there, dad is always there. But then we go through life and we realize, like, hey, maybe those opportunities that I had to say thank you to mom or dad, I was not able to say it the way, and this can be, I'm not saying we're not going to do anything, but I'm saying in the future, I think it'll be emotional for a lot of them, no, Marga, to go to you and express how much they appreciate you for for how you were as a mom. And also, I'm saying this because also being able to see your imperfections as a human being, and still get that same love from them and that same support. Parang ako with my mom, there were many times she'd say, anak, when you were younger, this, and I would just say, mom, and she would say this like over and over again. I would just say, mom, I just love you, and I'm just grateful for you, mom, and I'm just grateful for everything that you shared and everything that you taught me, and my sister, and all of that. So that's quite interesting. Also, and I want to hear what you guys, if you want to reflect on that. Then before see Miguel goes, I also have one thing to ask lang. Roy said, I wish I can have this kind of discussion with my dad. Roy says, how many brothers do you have, Royce? 5? And they're all, eto Marga, Roy says, I think 5, they're 5 siblings or 6, and they're all boys. They're all
wow.
guys. Yeah. So imagine this, and he's the eldest. So
Yeah.
sabi niya, I wish I can have this discussion with my dad and brothers. Maybe I'll schedule them next time. But,
Let me go back to that, because I didn't react to when you said who shows affection and stuff. They don't always say like every 5 seconds or every day, I love you, mom, I appreciate you. But when they can, they do. And that's good enough for me because I'm close to all of them. So even if they don't say it, I know it. Like, Natalia, for example, she's malambeng. Really. Like, she'll just come to the room and we're always messing around with each other. And then, Arriana, she'll come to the room, make cuento, she'll just keep talking and like tell me stories all day long. And then Sabrina naman, she's my roommate, so she still sleeps in our room. So she's very close to me. The boys, the same, especially the 2 middle boys, because the 2 younger boys, because they of the football, because I watch their games. So it's always before a game, I love you. No matter what happens, you're gonna be the best player to me. Okay, mom, I love you too. Thank you.
you say
But
that. Yeah, you
yeah.
actually say that.
Every single time. And then with Miguel also, like but Miguel and I a lot, like we'll just text it, right? I'll say to him, like if I want to say sorry, or he's actually the one. He's very everything I give him, or I even if it's a small thing. Oh, thank you, mom. Love you. I love this, mom. Thanks. So he says it, but they don't realize. But my cup is full, and I'm not lacking that part of that for my kids. I feel like they all say it when it's time to say it, or when it's the right time. And I think it's better than saying it every day and not even meaning it anymore. Right? So
Of course.
I know, I'm sure of that. So again, my gratefulness cup is full also when it comes to that reciprocation.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Margo. It's actually a tee up for another question I'm going to ask before see Miguel goes. There's this thing. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. Sabrina, Natalia, Ariana, Nicolo, Luigi, Miguel. There's this thing called the five love languages. Have any of you heard of that? Where the way you receive love from people. Okay, there's certain ways that according to the author Gary Chapman, that there's certain ways that we love receiving love from other people, but particularly from our parents. And I just like to quickly again, by a raise of hands, how many of you, if mom and dad showed love to you by giving words of affirmation, they say, either I love you or I'm proud of you or, I'll always be here for you. How many among you, and by a raise of hands again, how many of you would like to receive love that way? Can you raise your hands? I just want to see. Or appreciation from you. Okay, so, so I know mommy's taking notes, screenshot. Okay, I love it. Great. That's the first one. So great. Second question is, how many of you like being hugged by mom and dad? You like the tapping or the handshake? Okay, mabilis yung dalawang lalaki, Marga. So and Sabrina as well. Sorry, yeah, and Sabrina as well. And Miguel as well, right? So the hugging. Okay, great. How many of you like this one is a no-brainer, perhaps. Let's see. How many of you like receiving gifts from mom and dad, including Cashion, by the way? Oh my gosh. So,
Girls, oh.
Lana, Miguel is like, and of course the 18-year-old, of course. Okay. And then how many of you really, really feel so loved by mom and dad if they're not on their cell phones, they're not on their gadgets. I'm not assuming you are, I'm just as an example for people who are listening, but they take out everything and they just sit with you and they talk with you and they listen to you. Magkakwento ka lang. How many of you like that? Okay, the two girls and the two boys and Miguel. Oh, this is great. Lastly, because this is my love language, how many of you feel loved by mom and dad when they either take you to school or bring you lunch or do something for you as an act of, oh, lahat sila. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so thank you for participating in that. Really, this is a feedback mechanism that just says all of it is important. And for parents who are watching naman to Marga, because they're not aware of this, that it's important to say I love you to your child if that's important in your family. I'm not like trying to give you something to do for your family if that's important for you. But you can see it with the kids. Some of them like being told, how much you love them, how beautiful they are, how much you appreciate them. Also, all the other things that I went through. But thank you for participating. So before Miguel goes, because I know he has to go, I don't want him to rush. Miguel, what is one thing that you appreciate so much about your mom that for the rest of your life you will be, that in your heart you will be taking with you?
I feel like it's the time she puts in for everyone. I feel like it's something everyone in the family overlooks sometimes. But really, like, I'm pretty sure 70% of the day she spends doing things for us, whether it be making a living for supplying for our needs or, trying to look out for us, talking to our teachers or advisors, discussing how they can improve our lifestyle. Or, there's like a whole list of things that she does in a day just for us. And, I feel like we really we really undermine the fact that she spends that much time for us. I feel like there aren't that many parents that spend as much time with their kids or like they don't spend as much time for their kids. And I really feel like that's like what makes our mom so special. It's like her time, the way she spends her time is golden because it's really for us. I feel like that's how I see it. So yeah, love you, Mom.
Love you, Miguel. How funny. How many people are texting me, iiyak na yan?
How sweet. No, wait. But before Miguel goes, like I just wanna honor you, Miguel. 20 years old. You can say stuff like that about your mom. That's wonderful, man. I mean, that's really great. So we say a lot of people who follow you, especially your siblings, but they're gonna learn like if I have an opportunity to honor my parents and it feels right for me. Again, I'm not downloading any belief for people. Then say it because it's gonna be. I know it's gonna stay with your mom for a long. You already that, but especially for this moment. But also, I'm also happy for your son, Marga, because I know as he was able to see a model of what a beautiful human being with the label as mom, how she, how she sacrifices and how she does things for her family. I know that's nakatatak din sa kanya yan, and we say this is important because why I'm saying this, Miguel, is because I do a lot of I've been doing trainings for 10 years, and I freaking deal with a lot of people who have like dysfunctional relationships. It's
Yeah.
difficult. It's really difficult, man. So I'm letting, and this is the reality of it. I mean, you're all going to become adults. You're all going to have to go through all that stuff. But if you have that foundation, and if you're able to express, I guess the way Miguel just did, then at least you're already ahead of other people. So Miguel, if you have to go again, I'm not trying to take you out of the chat, but just in case, I don't want you to be like, "Bam, I've gotta go. Can I
You have to
go?"
go na ba,
But
Megs?
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Okay, bye. I'll see you later. Say bye
Thank
to
you,
Bye.
Sabrina.
Thanks
Nate.
for having
Take
me.
care, man. Thanks for being here, bro. I appreciate
See you
you.
guys
Bye.
later. Bye
Bye.
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 So, wow, that was sweet. Anyway, I want to say hi to all our viewers also. Like I said, I forget that we have people watching us from all over. But Lola, just I envy that you guys can talk to each other like that. There you go. I wish I can talk to my parents that way. They are not expressive. For them, giving us a roof and food is their best way to say I love you. Wish they can do more. Lolit, thank you for commenting that. But truly, a lot of people who watch this, they would wish that they could be like Migs or like you other guys, perhaps, where you can be closer to your mom or you can express. Kaya nga sinasabi namin, Lolit, they might not be perhaps the way they were raised. Also, they were not raised in that environment, so they were not used to it. But obviously, it doesn't mean that they don't love you, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a choice today and you're watching this and you want to have that experience and it's important for you to do it, then my suggestion or my encouragement is then do it because it's important for you. But don't ever
Yeah.
expect that your parents are going to change or they'll be different, or because a lot of us carry that resentment. So, sige, Mark, did you want to
I think,
add anything? Go ahead, Mark.
going back to Lolit's comment, I think it's different for everyone. My husband, says that a lot. Like they're not very affectionate. They don't say I love you. They don't hug and kiss and say bye and all that. I grew up also with step parents, so I have, aside from my mom and my dad, I have a stepmom and a stepdad. So the relationships were always so different depending on who the individual was. So I just, when I had a family, I just made it in such a way that it's not a no-brainer. Like if I love them, I will tell them that day how much I love them, and I will. When they were babies, I would like lamutak them to death, and smother. But when I'm mad at them, they're gonna know about it too. But when I know I'm wrong, I don't have a problem apologizing. Like
Really, that's
yeah,
wonderful.
when I know that I'm out of line or I went overboard, I will have conversations and apologize.
Yeah,
If
there's this thing that sorry, but yeah, there was this thing going around on social media about the toxic. I won't even say, but it's a toxic Filipino culture. But I think it can be toxic in any culture where we say even though we are in the wrong, and because I am the authority figure or I'm the dad or I'm the mom, you just shut up and you just listen to me, and that creates a lot of toxicity for the kids as well. But I'm glad that your mom can say like when I'm wrong. It's usually very difficult. 'Cause a lot of us, we think like we're bad people, and I'm speaking to the audience now. You think you're bad people if you make a mistake. But I say there was this thing that I heard from Marshall Rosenberg, which he's someone that I just follow and love. He says if you want a surefire way or formula for depression, it's this. They disappeared. Wait lang. It's
I think they're trying to log back in. Yeah, they're
yeah.
backstage. Well done. Sorry.
I gotcha. Yeah. So Sabi, if you want a surefire way to become depressed, is become a parent. So get married, have kids, and then
Yeah.
have this idea that there's such a thing as a perfect parent. I'll say that
Yeah.
again. If you want a sure formula for depression, have kids and have this idea that there's such a thing as a perfect parent. You're gonna get depressed because there's no such thing.
There's
Yeah,
not.
we all deal with our own. Parang my own son, and I'll share this to your kids as well, since they're still here, and I'm really grateful you guys are still staying here. My son's 20 years old, so he was just the same age as Miguel. And I
Yeah.
asked him because we do that in our seminars. I said, "What was it like for you growing up?" And because I think as the parent, one of the parents, I'm like, I thought it was all fun. We went camping, I took him to church, we watched movies together, we prayed together. So, but sabi ko, sige, I'll ask a courageous question because it might not be the answer that we think as parents, or you ask your sibling, how am I as a brother, or how am I as a sister, and you might remember only the good things. And he said to me, Dad, there were times that I was lonely, that I was really lonely growing up, because sometimes I had to go with my Lola, sometimes I had to stay with mom because I separated with his mom also, and that really hit me. And I think for a lot of parents, you can get defensive and say, but I was there for you. I was always there in your soccer games, in your graduation. But sometimes, giving your children an opportunity to also express how they're feeling, which I'll just segue to this, Marga, which I think is important. Have you guys seen? I'm asking your kids now. Have you guys seen this movie? It's called A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Have you guys seen that? That
No.
has Tom Hanks in. Okay, if you want a really family, I'll say it's family friendly, but it's also quite deep, the issues that they talk about there. That's something I saw yesterday or 2 days ago. It's quite powerful, but it also talks about family and challenges that we go through. Anyway, it's already 9:04. Just to be able to also respect your kids' time and your time also, Marga. Again, if there's anything that comes up, just interject na lang. But I'll go with that last question that I asked Miguel. Perhaps I'll go with the boys muna, then to the girls, and then to Sabrina. Nicolo, what is it? What's a lesson that from mom and dad? Could be from mom or dad, but since mom is here, a lesson that you learned from mom, and you don't have to come up with an answer
Oh,
if wala, but if there is lang, maybe whatever. It doesn't have to be like what your brother answered. That perhaps that you learned from her at how old are you at 14 years old?
15 or
Yeah,
14.
14 years
14.
old.
Mm. Do you want to answer?
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answers. I'm like, if there's nothing you want to
One
share,
thing.
that's fine. I'm just trying to see if there's, because if you asked me this at 14, I would just probably say, my mom, I appreciate it because like Miguel said, she just really tried to spend time with me, and I really appreciate her for that. What about you guys? So Nicolo muna and then Luigi.
Oh, one thing I appreciate about my mom, I think what I really like about my mom is that she is always
What
supportive
you choose
about
to do,
what we do. Like she's not forcing us.
what you're choosing to do, she'll
Huh?
just support
Sorry.
you.
Yeah, she's like very supportive with it. Like she's not forcing us to
Oh,
do
really, that's wonderful.
something we don't want. But then she also teaches us. She also corrects us if we're wrong, of course, so that we can learn from our mistakes too. And I think that really helped me grow up to become a better person.
That's one. Thank you for that, Nicolo. That's wonderful. Uh, Luigi, anything?
Go.
Um, I appreciate my mom because she's always taught me to be kind to everyone and to forgive everyone, even if they do the worst things, the most unforgivable things. She also accepts me for who I am, even if I do bad things, and she's always forgiving.
Wow, that's not being emotional. Sige, go to the next. A good Nat
Yeah.
and Ariana. Go ahead.
The thing that my mom taught me, in all honesty, is how to be me, like how to be myself. Because I look up to my mom, and I always tell her that I want to be her when I grow up, because she's super good when it comes to work. She's super good at balancing her time when it comes to her family, work, and her friends. And I think the one thing I got from her was like her maternal instincts, because even to my siblings, they always tell me that I'm like the second mom.
Yeah.
And when I grow up, the only thing I could think of is being a mom, but I want to be a mom that's even half as good as my mom is,
Oh
because I
wow.
can't imagine being any more than she is.
Oh my gosh. This is. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. I want to keep this going. Who's next? Ariana. Go ahead.
So I have the same answer with Nicolo. Like my mom is super supportive. I think out of all the six of us, I guess I'm bipolar with a lot of like my decisions and especially my hobbies. But no matter what, my mom always supports me like 100%. And I also like how she taught me to become confident, because I guess that I'm an introvert. Also Nicolo, like both of us are the introverts, and he taught me how to become more confident and how to not regret anything in the future. And yeah, that's like one of the biggest things that I learned from my mom.
Thank you. Go ahead. Last one is Sabrina. What is it that you appreciate about mom?
I appreciate how she never fails to give us what's best. Like she fought to get us into like CSA, and like she fought to give us like one of the best football programs, and like she always wants to give us like she always wants us to be healthy and happy with what we're doing, and I really love and appreciate her for that. And like she like also Nicole and Ari, she supports us, and she'll always be there at our performances and our games, and and like she's very supportive, and I love her for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So usually this part of the seminar, we ask everyone to take a deep breath. Everyone who's watching, they're like, oh my gosh,
Couple
what
of
a
comments about that, Bam. Natalia really is more than Miguel, the more mature. She's the most mature out of all the kids.
I
So
see.
even if Miguel is older than her, she was. I remember she was like 3 or 4 years old, and she was already like ruling the entire house.
Got it.
And and I was able to depend on her at such a young age. So that's probably why Miguel, even if he's the oldest, also got to cruise a lot growing up, was because she was always there to catch the responsibilities, but which now they share, right, Nats? Sort of. And then Ari's there now also. But Sabrina naman, I don't always I go to her performances, everything, but I don't always go to her games. If her brother's games and her games are sabay, that's when Natalia comes in, and I have to give her credit because she will go to her game so I
Wow.
can go to the boys' game. Or if
Amazing.
there's 3 different games, it's my husband, me, and then her. So we're always like split up everywhere. But again, and she understands, right? So that's it. I mean, and I think hearing them with their what they just said. I mean, yeah, it's really nice to hear, but I still, as a parent, you feel like you're never doing enough, and
Yeah,
that
of course.
whenever they say that, I still want to keep doing it, and I want to keep doing it better. Now that I taught them how to be confident, now I want to teach them how to be resilient. Or so there's just so many things you want to try to teach, and I think yeah, if I can just keep going and even do half of what I really intend to do, because diba you have a wish list of the things you want to do, and if I can even just reach half, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I haven't even gotten there yet.
I mean, it's interesting you said that because, again, for those people, and we'll be wrapping up already, but for those people who are watching, I know a lot of them are in that space, and those who are going to watch the replay, I know a lot of them perhaps are praying or wishing that they would also be acknowledged somehow. And I'm speaking to the kids as well by their children, because a lot of them also do their sacrifices and stuff like that. But to hear appreciation from your children, because, and I say this because Marga, because, and to people who are watching, because a lot of you watching this, like Marga said, you never feel like you're doing a good enough job, and a lot of you are still in guilt about how you're raising your kids, or perhaps there was something that they did, Marga, in the past when they were not so aware. Nasaktan din yung kids. They were harsh with their words. They were harsh in sports. They always wanted their kids to excel to the point, not like Nicolo said, but where it's supportive, but it's really to the point where they're being pressured, and there's a strain that's happening in the relationship. So I just appreciate you guys for being so open and sharing that, because not just for your mom, and I'm glad this is going to be, it's going to be posted online, so you'll always have these memories, but also for the people who are watching you guys, and you truly, Marga, I want to say this, and your kids, you guys are a blessing, and I appreciate you guys that you came to do this short interview, because a lot of people who are watching this, families, they're not getting along. A lot of people who are watching this, they don't like each other. I'm not saying it's perfect, wala namang ganun, but I'm saying to the point where they're really looking for answers, like how can I treat my younger sister? How can I have more respect to my older brother? And a lot of people don't know how. they sabi nga ni Royce, hey, we would love to have this with the siblings as well. But you guys have been amazing, being here and sharing. I know your time is valuable because you could be studying or reading or playing your games. But I really appreciate you guys, Nicolo, Luigi, Natalia, Ariana, and Sabrina. I'm really grateful that you guys came here with your mom. Marga, also, I'm really grateful that you allowed this time with your children. Just before we say goodnight, anything else that you guys wanted? But I just wanted to add on that note because that was a very powerful. I think if there was anything, Marga, that they would take out from that, we shared a lot. But it was really, people are feeling discouraged ngayon, Marga. People are
Yeah,
feeling
of
lost.
course.
People are not, and I'm also to your kids, they're not experiencing love. And to see a family like yours, and everyone knows this, there's no such thing as a perfect family, so you just already throw that idea away. But at least to see people like this and being able to express to their moms, because if you're a parent, where's my camera, like you're a father, I know you get angry. If you're a mom, I know you feel insecure and you get tired and you need support as well. But here's an example of where you're an imperfect family, but you're doing your best to make it work, and you're constantly also trying to get better. So on that note, anything, is anyone on social media here? You guys wanna?
All of
I don't know what's happening with their age group, if or
Actually,
whatever. But
Bam, like with the getting along when they grow up, my kids are not grown up. Like I know when they grow up, they're gonna all get married and then move out, have their own families. And with six, I always tell them, you won't always get along with your brothers and sisters in law, or there might be issues, or they might not like each other. But I always tell them, no matter what happens, you guys always have to keep the bond. Like, if you have to, if they live in different parts of the world, like make sure that once a year they come together and do something, even just the six of them, and then maybe another time you do it with your spouses, your kids, but really for them to just keep the bond of the six of them, because husbands and wives, they can come and go, diba? But the siblings will always be your siblings. So I mean,
okay,
I'm open-minded about that. But what I do want to ask the kids, that I want them to share with the people that are watching before we go, um, if you could, each of you could describe each of your siblings, and maybe what they are to you. For example, best friend or shopping partner or whatever. What would it be? So maybe, and then you have to do it from oldest to youngest. Who wants to start?
Abby should start, but she's the youngest.
Sabi, start.
wow.
Okay, say it louder. Hold on. Louder. Okay, so Sabrina, go. Miguel to you is
Like a teacher, he helps me in school a lot.
so a teacher. What about, and then Natalia?
Like a best friend.
Okay, Ariana.
She's like in between. Like, I don't know. I'm not.
We froze
I'm,
again.
I'm close to her, but not really. And like we do a lot of stuff together, but we also fight sometimes. I don't really talk to Nicolo because he's always playing games. So,
What about Luigi?
like,
Hello. Oh, not yet.
Yeah, I think they're backstage again, Bam. Sorry, the girls there.
It's okay.
Luigi's like,
The enemy.
not
No.
really. He's like a best friend too, I guess.
Oh, Luigi, she's your best friend. You're her best friend. Okay, next, Luigi, go.
Okay, for me, Miggy in the family is the smart but encouraging sibling. Iya is like the responsible sibling. Ari is like Ari and Nicolo are the ones I'm closest to. So like I talk to them a lot. Sabi is the playful one.
Nice.
Nicolo, go. Yeah.
Okay, so my Miggy. Yeah, I think I agree with Luigi. Miggy's like the smart one, but he also like I have a lot of fun with him and Luigi. Miggy and Luigi just staying in the same room as them. Just I have a lot of fun there. And then for Iya, she's like Miss Reliable and the Queen.
Oh,
But and then Ari is like I'm also super close to her, like Luigi. Luigi and her are my best friends in the family. And Sabi just plays around a lot. She's everywhere.
The loud one. But it's also
loud.
fun. Really loud.
So like growing up, Miguel and Nicolo were very close because Nicolo always followed what Miguel did, great games, everything.
Got
And
it.
Luigi always felt, he was close to Nicolo because of the age, but he always felt like Miguel and him had a gap, like they just weren't jiving. And it would come up every time he would write Miguel Palanca letters, like for retreats.
Yep.
He would always say, I wish we were closer. And he said it over and over. Like, Luigi, you remember writing this? So I would talk to Miguel and be like, Miguel, come on, try to do something with Luigi. And when you force them talaga, it's not going to work. Like, I've talked to him so many times about getting close to Luigi. And then this quarantine was, I feel like, such a pivotal moment for them, for the two of them, because they started with working out, and then they all, he starts gaming with him. So now it's him and Miguel who are together because Nico's always in the attic. But Luigi and Nicolo kasi have always been close, and Nicolo and Miguel have always been close. So it was always Luigi and Miguel that I was always trying to kind of push together, and it finally happened when I was not expecting it, or when I finally got over it and stopped pushing it to happen. So parents who are watching, it'll happen in its own time. You don't have to coax it or force it.
Yeah.
Okay, Arriana, you want to go next?
So all of my siblings are my favorites. I don't have anyone specific. But I guess individually, Miggy gives the best advice. Ia's like my best friend and roommate. And then Nicolo, I really enjoy his company, especially when I'm upstairs. And then Luigi, I enjoy playing music with him and when he shares videos, like really funny videos. And then Savvy, I like it. I like Savvy a lot because when I learn something new, like for example, like I recently started like making bracelets and all that. I really enjoy like teaching Savvy and all that. And yeah, she's like a mini me, I guess.
And then you, Nat.
Miggy and I, we aren't that close, but he's like reliable. Like if I ask him something that I'm not sure if even he knows, he always finds a way to surprise me by giving me more than I ask for. Ari's my best friend because she knows everything about me. Like there's nothing I don't tell her. Nicolo is like my protective boyfriend because he always gets mad at me when I go out. And he has a lot to say about the things I wear and the people I hang out with.
Funny, no, it's not the kuya who's protective about the outfits. It's him.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Luigi is how do I say this? Everything he does, like because I have a really short temper, but like whenever he has jokes to say or videos to share, his laugh is always contagious, which is why it's hard for me to stay mad at him. And for Sabby's like a mini me because Sabby and I do everything together too.
no, Sabby's like your baby.
Yeah, we do a lot of really weird things together.
Yeah. And Luigi's like your male version, I think. Right? Okay.
Well, thank you. I mean, yeah, go ahead, Marga.
No, that's it.
No, I was just gonna say I'm trying to imagine what it's like to be Sabrina, to have 5 older siblings, and some of them see you as the mini me or the baby or whatever. But I mean, it's amazing that you have older siblings that you can, I guess, now and in the future also talk to, get advice from as well. But thank you guys for sharing your thoughts on your siblings, and again for being here this time. Just really quick lang, hi to Joanna De Los Santos Lazaro of Flores Enterprises. Sabi niya lang for you guys, respect for Miss Marga. Always hear that raising a kid is not easy at all. That's just one kid. And Miss Marga and hubby raising 6. Saludo po. Lolit says thank you also, Marga. Thank you to you guys. Joanna also says lovely words from her kids. When I become a mom, I pray that twins, that's what she's praying for, will love me that way and
Wow.
would appreciate me vocally that way. Sending the best to your family, you guys. And again, Royce with the five siblings, all boys, says, I can feel the love in your family, Marga. So I hope, Royce, this also goes to your family. But again, you guys brought a lot of warmth and tenderness and laughter tonight. We're almost going to an hour 30 minutes, but I appreciate you, Marga, for doing this. Are you guys, I was asking that, like, are you guys on social media? Do you guys have accounts that you want people to
Yeah.
follow,
Oh,
or because I don't know what you guys do at your age.
Natalia, start.
Oh, follow my Instagram at Natalia Tupaz. And shout out to Martin Serrano.
To who?
It's watching to Martin Serrano.
Serrano.
Oh my gosh, Ari. So her account is at Natalia Tupaz. And then Ari,
My IG is Arriana Tupaz, and my business is aline.label.
so at ALINE dot label.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicolo,
Oh, mine is just at Nicolo Tupaz on Instagram.
okay, and Luigi.
I don't want to share.
Oh my god, okay. You. Oh no, also okay. No, the
Yeah,
also.
because they're the kids of the parents who are watching. They might, they might want to follow you guys. So I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, before we go, any other last things to share, Marga, before we just
No,
wrap up
Oh,
everything?
I think I'm good.
I have
I
a
mean,
question.
Yeah, go
yeah,
questions. Yeah, go questions.
look at his face. It's frozen with question. Go,
Me?
Luigi. Yeah. What's the
Oh,
question?
because one thing that stuck with me, is that you said at the start that you were an introvert. So I wanted to know what made you choose this career path.
That is an amazing question. So that is also, you're also encouraging me to have you guys on again for a part two, where you can ask Tito Bam all the questions and that you want about people, relationships, and all the stuff. But that's a great question, Luigi. Um, what made me okay? So as we end, and this will be something for I think everyone watching and you guys as well. I grew up as a very insecure boy, Luigi, because it was just I don't know. It was just like that. My parents also separated when I can't even remember. I was very young, but I
Yeah.
was introverted and I did not have. This is my perception, of course. Now I have a great relationship with both. But when I was growing up, I felt I did not have a good relationship with, both my parents. So um, that led to me wanting to be not being very open. As a matter of fact, I went to school in Australia for a year, first year high school, and there were people trying to make friends with me. I remember this girl; she sat beside me in the bus, and she was pretty cute. She was pretty cute also. I was like 12 or 13, and she was like, "Yeah, good day," like I just did that, and like I couldn't say anything. That's how shy I was. And I think then growing up, when I was 14, this will be really quick now. When I was 14, I started to fall in love with music, and I started to since I was introverted and my family didn't like it, so I locked myself in Australia in my bedroom, and I taught myself how to play the guitar by myself. I had CDs or I know it was tapes pa yata noon in the 80s, and then I had this vision of like putting up a band and becoming like a rock star, like having all the girls screaming and all that stuff. And I said that well, you can't be a rock star if you're going to be introverted because you have to go on stage and all that stuff. But interestingly enough, after college, I got into music and I did have a band and I did that for 11 years. So the band music helped me sort of like come out of my shell, and it also showed me. So why was I introverted? Because I was insecure about a lot of things. I was very jealous. I was very insecure, very fearful, and I did not have the way that you guys are able to talk to each other or talk to your mom at the time, because I didn't really want to talk to my parents. So I had to deal with all the insecurities by myself. And then yeah, from that point on, when I finished music, the next question was like, what am I going to do next with my life? And then I saw this guy who was helping. Interestingly enough, Barga, he was helping a suicidal teenager. I think she was 13
Oh
in
wow.
America, and he was helping her, not to hurt herself. And I saw this guy, his name is Tony Robbins, and I said like, wow, I want to do that work, because I was watching him and I was crying, and I'm like, I want to help. It wasn't particularly like teenagers. Like I said, I want to help people who have lost like hope to live life, to find hope and inspiration and joy again. And then I had to learn to speak in front of people. This time I didn't have my guitar anymore. Before I had my guitar and my band, I could hide behind them. But this time it was just me. So that led me to doing that, and then to doing this work also, where now I created it, Luigi, here on Facebook, where I want to get to reach out to people. And yeah, that I think that's the long answer to your question. But it's an amazing question. A lot of people watching this also. I'm introverted. I can't be like Luigi or Miguel or Ariana, whatever. I mean, but you can definitely shift. You can shift. So you don't put yourself in a box and say, I'm always going to be like this for the rest of my life. Um, but when you're done shifting, you can go back to your default, which is still me with my books and still being a very private person. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
You're awesome, man. I mean, this is fun. This is all Tito Bam does, actually. Is like
Yeah.
as we end, I did this program, Marga, in Mongolia for teenagers as well,
Okay.
13, 14, 15. And I did one that was an all English class, and I did one that was Mongolian. It had to be translated. But it's
Wow.
interesting that you guys are, it's still that journey of people, because not everyone has that good relationship with their parents. So it is my goal to keep sharing what we're sharing. As we close, love hearing your story, Bam. Inspiring always. You are brave, kind, and compassionate. You're in the right space. You're blessing so many. Keep on. Thank you so much, Joanna. I really appreciate you. Marga, I appreciate you and your kids for being
Thank
here. I had
you.
fun. Um,
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. You guys are a blessing, and really, I'm saying a special blessing for you guys tonight, for your family. And I
Oh,
know
thank you.
naman yung reality, Marga, when you guys get older, you're gonna have to face life. And we all know life, not everyone is kind, not everyone is out there for,
Yeah.
but if you guys have each other's backs, and you keep encouraging yourselves, and you also are, yung sinasabi ng mom nyo kanina, to know like, I don't want to listen to all these other external things that are trying to break me down or wear me down. But instead, I want to focus on the love we have in the family. Then you've got the perfect, I think, formula for thriving in life. So,
Yeah.
on that one, papalakpakan ko lang. Thank you so much for
Thank
being here,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Connect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Connect with Tito Bam also. I mean, anything, you have access to me.
There,
Um,
you have a life coach now, guys. You
yeah,
have a
yeah.
life coach who's
Yeah.
not mom.
Yeah,
So it's
I
not
was gonna
even
I was gonna say, I wanna check out the addict that Nicolo has and see what games he plays pag lifted na yung lockdown.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So for those of you who are watching, Joanna, Lolit, Royce, everyone here from all over the world, if you are watching the replay, hashtag Team Replay, so we can say hi to you guys. I appreciate all your comments and all your time being with us Saturday night. God bless you guys. And again, this family
Thank
gives you
you.
hope and inspiration. You're seeing them. Not everything is dark. There's still a family that is learning and giving love to one another. So can you guys at home, whatever you're going through. There's no such thing as a perfect family. Stop weighing yourself down with guilt and shame and anger. So with that, good night, everyone. Marga,
Thank
Nicolo,
you. Thanks for
Luigi,
having
Arriana, Sabrina, and of course Miguel. Thank you, Sabrina, for being here beside your mom and
us.
staying with us this whole hour and a half. God bless you guys. I'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
Sam. Good night. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everybody.
Marga.
Have
I'll
a
see
good
you
night. Have
guys.
a good
Good
weekend.
night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Marga. And broadcast.